All right. I'm back in the garage. After a 2-year hiatus, I have got a little upgrade we're going to do on the Hemi today. I've been running this 750 double pump here forever, but what do we have here? Even though it's upside down, that's a Brawler 850. 850, 426. Do the math. I think that should be good. Now, the first thing I'm going to recommend to anybody messing with this on a Mopar, especially an E-body, take off the meat hook of death. Your skull will thank you later. Couple of bolts and easy. Another thing, and gosh, I don't remember doing this, but let me show you the gasket that I pulled off that was under that 750. That was a 4-hole gasket. Yeah, I think my Hemi ate that, because this is absolute shit. Anyway, I'm going to get out the other one and compare what we got to compare, and we'll go from there. All right, I got to get that fuel line off of there. It was on there pretty snug, been on the car for a while, but we gon' get it okay. I got this really thin wrench I bought off my Matco dealer like a million years ago, just for this vehicle. And a matter of fact, I even made a socket, and I'll show it to you if I can find it. Yeah, it's right here. This is a custom-made socket. It was 1.25 inches. No, it was a 1 inch. I take that back. It was a 1 inch. Because if you ever notice, a lot of times on these Holley carbs, you can't get the socket to fit down and just snug that fitting up the way you need to. So I took a standard 1-inch socket. Just go to Menards, get a cheapie, and make a date with your grinder. Because I assure you, this socket right here will get the job done. Anyway, I digress. Let's play. Let's play with this a little bit. Got my line wrench over here. I expect this to be a little tight because of the fact this thing has been tightened on and off before, so we may need to give this a little bit of love to get this to seat properly on here. This is why we have other tools here. We have wrenches so we can bang on other wrenches here. Yeah. A third set of hands here would probably be good, but sometimes the best way my wife can help me is by not helping me. You didn't hear that from me now, but all right, I got the fuel line off. You can see we had a little bit of the old twist and shout on this one. The other side came off just fine. So, I don't know, maybe we'll just make one piece, or maybe... The whole thing of it is, I don't want to get involved in a whole bunch of plumbing. I hate plumbing. I do. Anyway, let's continue. Anyway, just for reference, okay? That custom socket does go on there. So nice. You notice we're just clearing this. This is where you usually get hung up. And you can just cranky and you're good. So I would recommend going to the Menard or the True Value, whatever you got by you. Get a socket, get an extension, get your grinder out, and just work a little magic. The aggravation it will save you is priceless. All right. Here we are just comparing 850 to the 750. More power. Anyway, one thing I do like about this 850, and you used to get this on Holley, but you got to be an old school guy. I had Holley 4-barrels on a lot of my medium duty Chevy rollbacks and wreckers back in the day. And one thing I like is glass sight fuel bowls. No more of this guessing, no more, well, I think it feels right. Because I am going to attempt to use the electric choke on this. The last one, I had that set up manual choke. I bought the car with it being manual choke. And, you know, it didn't bother me. It didn't get in my way, so I left it on. I can see one bracket we're going to switch over. Alright, there's one little project we're going to get into before this carburetor goes on. As you can see, this side of the fuel line looking good. This side is playing twist and shout. Okay. We had a little situation with the fuel line coming off of that Holley carb. And it's something we call around here a candy cane. Let me show that to you. Obviously junk, unusable. What are you going to do with that? So with a lot of patience, I have made a replacement line, and let me lay it out here for you so you can get a good view here. So next we're going to get that fuel line on and make sure everything lines up good. Obviously we can't check for leaks till we get things running here, but it's another step, another piece of the puzzle done. Okay, fuel line on, and it'll need a final snug up once we get it on the car, but all good. We have a good gauge of wire for that clip. There's one important thing I wanted to talk about. We've all got these to one degree or another. And you know what I'm going to be talking about. Shitty crimps. We've all seen them. We've all had them. And most of us, me included, have done them. I'll tell you something. If you got these are good for stripping wire, cutting wire. Crimping, forget about it. Here's another pair, very similar. Don't crimp with that. Strip wire with that. Let's dig a little farther here. We got all kind of stuff in the toolbox here. This one here, I'll give this one a B grade. This is as close as what you're going to get, I think, for a lot of people. But if you really want to do crimps the right way, this is what you need. And it comes with changeable dies, okay, that you can swap out depending what gauge of wire you have. This will give you as close to a factory crimp as you are ever gonna find. So if you don't want, all right, I trimmed a little of plastic. If you can see, I don't know if you can really see it, but there are actually, you know, indents in there like a factory crimp. And that is what is going to hold the wire in, not this rolled over kind of, you've seen it. We've seen those crimps. They wiggle loose over time, vibration, and then you're chasing ghosts, trying to know where your power went. All right, there is one thing that I've done here to give it a little extra safety factor here. I put a little shrink tubing around the lead because that's awfully close to my fuel line setup here. So instead of reconfiguring the fuel line again, we just bought a little cheap insurance here. So another step done. Let's move on. All right. We got the fuel lines back on. There's a little reminder for everybody. Just because your fuel lines are sitting in a certain spot when you take them off, they don't always exactly end up in that same spot putting them back on. I'm going to snug some things up. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to take the coil wire off and just crank it a little bit. Let's get some fuel up to the carb, and we'll check for some leaks, and we'll go from there. And see what we got here. Now, one thing I do remember, put the battery cable back on. Yeah. What do you think? You think that's necessary? I think that's a good idea. Now I smell fuel now. Okay. What do we got? We got fuel coming out of this one side or another, but there's definitely we definitely got a little bit of a leak there. We're going to get that taken care of. Let's try it again. All right, paper towel's dry. So now I also have that wire for the choke coming off the ballast resistor right now. It's just kind of laying there. I don't know if you can really see it that well, but it's that red wire. I'm not saying I'm going to leave it there, but for test purposes, we don't need anything real elaborate. Right. Well, I gotta say, I hit the key one time, she fired right up. Let's take a look for some fuel leaks, and we'll go from there. It looks like the choke function is working. Maybe I gotta turn that low idle speed up a little bit, or the high idle speed, or whatever idle speed. Anyway, low level's really high, especially that rear one, but we can fix that easy enough. You know, it's going to be a step-by-step situation here.